Again, there is just one case of monkeypox confirmed, but if other suspected cases are found, Dr. Mendoza says that would mean there is community spread. We should also note it takes about 2 weeks after the exposure to come down with the illness. Doug? As Cornhill was wrapping up, the artists were telling me that they hope the energy of the people attending this year's fest will carry over into next year's art festival. Chase? Bars says this is the biggest increase in travel since the start of the pandemic, and because of that, he's asking travelers to be a bit more patient while trying to get to their final destination. Live in Rochester, I'm Dalton Williams, 13 WHAM News. Some reports indicate inflation is estimated to hit its peak by the end of this summer at a 9% increase and then is projected to slowly decline throughout the year. In the newsroom, I'm Dalton Williams. Governor Hochul says this is a temporary measure, but she does want to keep everyone as safe as possible as the statewide COVID cases continue to rise. Live in downtown Rochester, I'm Dalton Williams. Carr says another way you can save money while on vacation is to pre-pack meals to cut down on the food expenses. In the newsroom, I'm Dalton Williams. Cypher adds there are also additional resources in the training for people to further educate themselves on how to talk about the tough subjects like this and how to cope afterwards. In the newsroom, I'm Dalton Williams. State lawmakers announced today that if Roe v. Wade is overturned, there are pieces of legislation that are going before the state Senate to further expand abortion rights in New York. Live in downtown Rochester, I'm Dalton Williams, 13 WHAM News. Now, this gas tax suspension is set to go into full effect this Wednesday, June 1st. Live in South Point Marina, I'm Dalton Williams, 13 WHAM News. Live in Rochester, I'm Dalton Williams. Dan? Yes, the governor said today hate speech on social media has become an unchecked virus allowed to be spread. Governor Kathy Hochul calling out CEOs of social media platforms for not doing more to monitor violent and racist content, stressing the severity of the situation and consequences that could have come as a result of this lack of monitoring.
We don't know whether there's other people who are now going to be inspired, which is exactly what this cruel, depraved person intended. If you read the manifesto, he intended to make sure that other people would see what happened in real time here so they would consider other acts as well.
Attorney General Letitia James reiterating the governor's remarks, adding that social media will be a big part in the investigation.
Let us make sure that we investigate social media, and my office will be focused on doing that, as we have been doing for the last few months.
Governor Hochul says she plans to meet with these companies soon about changing their algorithms to more quickly identify hate speech on these platforms.
I want them to sit in a room, look me in the eye, and tell me, have you done everything humanly possible to make sure that you are monitoring this content the second it hits your platform? And if you're not, then I'm going to hold you responsible. So prove to me that there's nothing else that can be done.
And she hopes after these meetings, this will help stop any potential shootings.
To anyone else, and this is my last message, anyone else who dare break the security that every citizen is entitled to make them feel victimized, you've just picked a fight with 20 million New Yorkers.
State officials also warned people about any possible GoFundMe scams that may appear in the coming days. In the newsroom, I'm Dalton Williams. In 2001, Dawn Vogler Elias started paying her student loan debt right out of college, a total of $98,809. When she graduated, there wasn't a public loan forgiveness program put in place. Eventually, one was created, but at the time, she didn't qualify, leading her to think she would be making her payments for much longer.
I've been paying like all that time, and I really thought, if you do the calculations, I'm like, I'm going to be paying this when my kids are in college and paying for their college and this at the same time.
It wasn't until the fall of 2021 when she learned about a way to reconsolidate her loans that might help.
It was kind of a leap of faith because I had to kind of take the remaining loans I had, put them back into, reconsolidate them into the federal government, into an income-driven, income-based system, and kind of then apply for forgiveness and cross my fingers and hope that I would get it.
After doing some research between the federal student aid site and a Facebook group tailored for student loan debt, she learned she qualified for the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program.
The way I understand it, it's pretty much if you've worked in a nonprofit organization and you've paid on your loan for at least 10 years, that you can apply.
And it worked, saying now that the loan payments are gone, she can breathe a sigh of relief.
It's just going to be just such a relief to know, like, okay, we have one less bill that we have to pay every month, and not factoring that into our budgeting. It's just, it's just going to be a huge weight and a huge relief. Really nice.
There are other careers and ways to qualify for student loan forgiveness. If you're wondering if you qualify, we have more information on 13wham.com. Don?